Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to share with you my review of Doom Eternal. I've played about a third of the game, or 5 hours of campaign game time, and I wanted to offer you an early review of my opinions thus far before I spoil it for myself on stream later tonight. I utterly adored Doom 2016. I played classic Doom 1, 2, and 3, and even N64, and the reworks, and on the Xbox, and all that sort of stuff. So I've been excited for Doom Eternal for a long time now. And I gotta say that ID Software has done it again and delivered an absolutely amazing game, single player wise. I haven't delved into multiplayer too much, and it isn't without its flaws. We will be talking about a couple of the flaws associated with Doom Eternal today, but overall it's really polished, really fun, really fast, and I had a great time playing it and streaming it for all of you. Doom Eternal has a much bigger focus on upgrading your Doomslayer than previous versions. Normally you just get your guns and run around and kill people. In 2016 had some upgrades, but in this one you can find weapon kits to upgrade your weapon mods to maybe shoot grenades or snipe or charge up or something like that. There's runes that you can put on your body that give you extra abilities, more control in the air, slow down time when you're about to die, blood punch so that you can send enemies flying. You have a shoulder-mounted flamethrower that looks like the Predator shoulder-mounted laser and a nice arm blade, and upgrading both of these actually gives you some extra abilities with either one, along with upgrading your health and armor. And finally, your suit itself has an entire massive upgrade key that you have to find Sentinel tokens to truly unlock the power of your suit. The upgrade methods for all of these are pretty much the same. You have to find a thing somewhere on the map to unlock it. Some of them are in your path so that you get enough to continue through the campaign. Others are really well hidden. You have to solve puzzles and hunt them down. You will find a lot overall if you explore, and what this does is it gives you greater agency over how you want to kill demons. As a side note, you'll find a lot of lore pickups around the map that flesh out the relatively bare-bones story. If you don't read the lore, if you're not familiar with Doom, the story is pretty simple. The Doomslayer kills the demons. However, if you want to dive into the lore and learn more about it, which is all optional, it's fantastic. They must have a truly top-tier Lord of the Rings level lore master for this, because I find it all to be incredibly interesting. One fun note, though, is that between missions, your Doomslayer visits his gothic floating space castle that's in orbit above Earth so that you can upgrade all of your stuff. It's your central hub for the game and has everything that you need in order to prepare for the next mission, and it's comically metal all the way down to his triple monitor PC gaming setup and chips and Demonology Today magazine and guitars and all sorts of fun stuff. But that's not all of the new stuff. ID decided that for some reason Doom 2016 was too slow, so now the Slayer has a whole bunch of advanced movement abilities. You can double jump, dash, pole vault like a gymnast for extra distance and elevation. You can even grappling hook onto your enemies to just suck in and fly to them. And every arena that you fight in is going to have a bunch of like Halo-style launch pads, poles, and all sorts of stuff for you to stay hyper mobile with. This isn't walk into the room and sort of force your way through the Demon's Doom Slayer. This is almost like a Quake arena shooter, hypermobile, bounce around, kill them really fast kind of Slayer. The enemies are all pretty similar to Doom 2016 in that they all have specific weak points. Brain spiders, you have to disable the scorpion tail so that they can't shoot you. Cacao demons, the big floating ones, you need to put a grenade in their mouth so that they can get stunned and then you can execute them. Pinky, the big pink Triceratops looking thing, is only weak from behind, and the Revenant, the flying ones, you have to disable their jetpacks so that they can't fly. They do overall have a greater amount of dismemberment and bodily damage than the past game. You can weaken their offensive capabilities by goring them or giving them, and their visual amount of gore and damage gives you an idea of how much health they have left. Overall, each enemy that you fight will present a different challenge, except for some of the weaklings. There's a few of the very, very weak demons that don't really hurt you very much, and they're just kind of there to be fodder for your loot, which leads me to maybe one of the very few places in today's video that I'm going to disagree with the game design and offer some criticism, which is the loot economy. The enemies, I played on hard mode to be fair, and the enemies in this mode are overall pretty strong and will very quickly deplete your resources. On top of that, the developers purposefully did not give you enough resources to finish a fight. You do not have enough health, enough armor, and especially not enough ammo to fully finish most fights and move on to the next level. Instead, you're expected to use your abilities to get resources back from the demons, and this feeds into the lore because the Doomslayer is powered by hatred and his suit by the blood of demons and things like that. So you get ammo from demons for chainsaw kills, and your chainsaw is on an economy too, but you can pick up gasoline. You get health from demons for glory kills, which is the ones when they have the little flashing and you go in for the cool execution. The bigger the demon, the more more health, and you get armor from demons if you burn them with a flamethrower and then kill them. Basically, every time you shoot them, they drop a coin, like getting points from zombies in COD, and when you kill them, they drop a bunch of armor, and you get assists for this as well. The idea is to encourage players to use all three more often and make them a part of the gameplay loop. In the previous Doom, some people just didn't like to glory kill the demons, and they would only do it as necessary, didn't need the chainsaw, we didn't have a flamethrower in that time. But in this one, you need to do all three consistently in order to keep your health, armor, and ammo flowing. From a gameplay standpoint, this works great, and I have no complaints about it. Like, from a gameplay loop standpoint, this makes perfect sense, but there's a weakness to it from an entertainment standpoint in that it gets a bit repetitive. Glory kills are great, and chainsaw kills are great, and they look cool, and they're fun, and they have a lot of variety per demon. You have about 2 different, maybe 3 different executions, depending on which way you're facing the demon, and some rarer ones. But when you're doing it hundreds upon hundreds of times, especially on the weaker, lower tier demons that only need a little bit of damage before you're ready to kill them and harvest their resources, it can get repetitive. Now, killing the big demons is fun. The Kakao demons got a little boring because you do the same thing every time, but the little demons, you just shoot them twice and then do the execution and get your loot, and it just got a little bit repetitive. It's kind of like the fatalities in Mortal Kombat. If it happens all the time, it's not fun, and this pushed Doom into a little bit too much into the all the time category. Here I am playing a game about killing demons. I'm complaining about killing demons too goringly. Anyway, let's do something a little bit more positive. I really liked that the first couple hours of the game was essentially one big training mission, and every maybe 15 to 30 minutes it was introducing me to new gameplay mechanics to train me to become a proper Doomslayer, to come in and just kill enemies better and better. And then it gives me the opportunity to do super hard missions for bonus loot and gear and secrets and stuff like this. And in these missions, I had to chain together my movement, my ability to aim, planning, exploiting the demon's weak points, the loot economy, and literally every single thing that I'd learned in the previous couple hours in order to survive and get my rewards. The Doomslayer is fueled by hatred, and at this point in the game you'll feel like you are too, and after a couple hours you'll feel that you have mastered all the abilities. You'll feel very confident and in control in horrible situations. You'll be starting to view these demons as little bots, as things that are to be picked apart and not taken seriously, and you're going to feel like you really are the Doomslayer, until the game throws a boss at you that nukes all of your health almost instantly as soon as the cutscene loads. This first boss that I fought was such a huge challenge that I failed it enough times to be offered a baby mode. Doom popped up and said, hey, you can continue this checkpoint with like bonus health and armor so you take less damage and you don't, it doesn't hurt your campaign progress, but it's a lot easier. We've noticed that you've died a whole lot. I didn't do that. I took the man mode. I wanted to get good and, learn to beat the boss the real way. And in order to do that, you have to use your plasma cannon to lower the shields. Then you have to use something, shotgun typically, to disable the hover pad so that he can't fly around. He has 4 different hover pads you need to break. Then he'll jump out and chase you around. You kill the main body primarily with rockets until you have the option to execute, and you better execute him before he gets right back up. All of this has to be done while you're being surrounded by other demons dealing damage to you and stealing resources from them or from you, because when you fight one demon you'll have 3 more shooting you in the back. A lot of times they're a little bit weaker, so your shields will be going down, or your health will be going down somewhat, armor I should say. So you'll have to take turns dealing and receiving damage and then harvesting health and armor back from all of the enemies around you, all while staying hypermobile, because if you sit still for more than 3 seconds you're just going to be absolutely dead. After about 4 or 5 tries, I did eventually beat the boss. I felt very satisfied. I felt like the Doomslayer. I felt like I knew what I was doing. And I'm like, okay, I've done it. I've beaten the challenge. I'm getting in the groove of this. And then in the very next room, there's 2 of the exact same bosses in a smaller space with even harder, higher level demons everywhere and less loot to pick up on the ground. I really had to get good in order to survive this, but beating this part was incredibly satisfying. And that's how I think Doom is overall. I think Doom is an incredibly satisfying shooter. It's incredible, and it's cathartic in a way to just, mow down hordes of demons. It's like a big power fantasy. But From a gameplay standpoint, I think it's polished, I think it's fun, I think Doom knows what it wants to be and isn't trying to copy other games. The single player is challenging, yet you will feel rewarded for completing said challenges. It's fun, you know, it's fun in that it can be a little scary, it can be a little violent. It's also got a good sense of humor about how silly a lot of the demon stuff is. And I think the campaign has a fantastic story if you stop and read all the little articles that you pick up. In my opinion, this is a game that's definitely worth buying, and if you want to relax, chill, and kill cyber demons during quarantine, this is going to be worth your time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this game review. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.